Thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. So we are recording now. Hopefully you can see my screen as well.
Yes.
So this is the Service Console. And then based on what Jeff said, I was able to dig around and pull this up as well. So we'll jump into that in just a moment. But yeah, so basically we're here today to talk about the service component and how we can do ticket management, how we can leverage the Omni-Channel router to do that capacity-based live routing. So I'm going to go over sort of all those features with you. Before I do that, I just want to know, is there anything specific that you'd love to get out of this? Maybe something you'd like to see from your guys' perspective?
So the basics, Eric, because we are trying to see how this can replace our service desk today, right? So kind of everything that we should know. I mean, maybe we are not using our current service desk to its fullest potential, or we didn't even start, right? These are tools you started as soon as you started your company, so we're just using it as an email support at this point of time.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, let's just jump right into it. We've got about 30 minutes, and I want to show you all of the features within Service Cloud, but then I also want to show that Maps module as well. So right from the beginning, when we sign in, our service reps, you can see we're in the Service Console, and we have the home page. So just like the Sales Console with the home page, you have this for your service agents. And everything's going to live within a single platform, so you can see how I can easily jump to sales, to service, or any other application that you may have as a part of your instance. And so some of the things that are important for me to see, obviously I can see all of my cases. We can break them down by priority, by type, all of that good stuff. You can build these based on any data that lives within Salesforce, just like you can on the sales side, so that you can present the correct information to your reps. And we can do this on an individual contributor level, and we can also do this at a company-wide level, and I'll show you that in just a second. But beyond just sort of the standard, what are my cases, what priority are they, we can do things like resolution time. So if you have SLAs, if you have milestones that you have to meet or agreements with your customers, we can track those within the platform as well. So I can see, what is my resolution time for the cases that are given to me? How compliant am I with my SLAs as an individual? And what's my average response time? So we can view all of that just to see how quickly I'm able to reach out to them. I can also see cases by team members, things like that, by different channels. So as you're increasing your channels through live chat, through inbound phone calls, whatever it may be, you're able to view all of that, contact me forms, all of that good stuff. One of the out-of-the-box features that you get with Service Cloud is we can embed a web-to-case form. And so your customers can go to your website and they can generate a case right there. It can funnel into the CRM, and then we can automatically assign them to a rep. You can see over here, I have all of my open cases, so I can go through them right here, or of course we can have list views, and we'll talk about that in just a second. The way we get these cases to your reps really depends on how you want to set that up. So we can have just a basic round robin, a case comes in, it falls into a queue, a manager disperses it, or maybe the reps go in and they pick the cases, however you want to do that. Or we can have more complex case assignment rules, and we can leverage what's called the Omni-Channel. So this module is unique to Service Cloud. This is not something you get with Sales Cloud, and it allows for real-time capacity-based routing to your reps. So as you increase all of these channels, as you have chat, you have inbound phone calls, you have cases coming from your website, maybe they're coming from email. I didn't talk about that, but that's also something we can do, is an email to case form as well. Whatever it may be, we're able to route these to the correct agent based on what their skill set is, based on what their availability is. So here I have the ability to change my disposition. So I can be available for all channels. Maybe I only want to take cases through the website. Maybe I want to take only chat. If we're doing messaging, we can do that. So text messaging or phone. I can also set myself as busy. I'm on a break, I'm on lunch, I'm doing a training, or I'm just fully offline. It's time to go home. And then that is going to automatically route these cases to me based on that, as well as my skill set. So if I go available all, it's going to think for a second, I'm online, and then it's going to start routing cases. And so you're able to see that are coming to me. And you'll notice as I jump around, let's say I look at my cases here, maybe I want to look at my accounts. No matter what page I'm on, This omni-channel router is always going to be here at the bottom. So as cases come in, it will pop up and let me know. So no matter where I'm at, I'm able to respond to these in real time. And I can do something as simple as exit it out. I can set a reason. All it's going to do is drop it down into the queue and send it to the next individual that's available. Or I can select yes, and it's going to go ahead and do a screen pop. So this is an email, so an email to case, and it's listed as critical. It's automatically generated case number, and you can see it's set in my queue for 8 months, 29 days, and 14 hours. Obviously, this is a demo org. These are not real people, but this shows you how you're able to build reports on how long did they sit there before someone actually reached out to them. So let's just go ahead and click on this. I'm going to accept this. And by accepting this, what it's going to do is it's going to cross-reference all of the data that was filled out with this customer. It's going to find their actual account record within Salesforce, and it's going to pop that up for me. So the first thing I'm going to be presented with is the case. It's went from a new case status to automatically working, and then we can report on those milestones that way as well. You can see all of the details associated with it down here. The actual contact that filled it out is going to be up here. It's going to be the first thing I see, and then the account that's actually linked to this. So this goes into that full 360-degree view of the customer because I can see, at a click, all the account information. What sales have we had with them? What are their orders? So all of that stuff in our sales module that our sales team's doing is now available to me as a service rep. This is a seamless, not necessarily an integration because it's not connected. It's all under a single umbrella. I want to pause there before we move on. What questions do you have so far?
So basically it's if this is coming to a common email box and you're all, so we have agents assigned to them, right? So like people based on who are online, are we able to route it to say, basically it's not my level of ticket, so I have to, or I have two queries in the same case, and so I want to split it between two people saying that, hey, this is a technical thing, I need your help, versus this is a functionality and I should be able to do it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's try to answer that two ways. So let's start at the beginning and talk about the routing and how it does that. So if you look at the Omni Supervisor dashboard, you'll see that we're able to assign things based on skill set. So if we set something like a pick list where we can determine what field that is whenever they initially create this case, if this is a much more technical case that needs to go to engineering or needs to go to a technical resource, maybe it's not just I reset my password, we can set skills so that we don't even have to escalate this to begin with. It'll automatically go to that individual. And then you can see here things like their state, when they logged in, what their capacity is, their workload, all of that. But this just shows you how, this individual is a billing and account specialist versus, this one speaks English, or this is a general specialist. There's a bunch of different ways we can set those skills. One of them could be a technical specialist as well. So automatically, we can automatically route them. But let's say it gets to you and actually, no, this was sent to me incorrectly. I need to move this to someone else. We can simply escalate this. You can hit save, and you can have an automation in place where it just automatically goes to the engineering. We're able to do that there. Or we could just go in here and I could change it. So if I know who this needs to go to, I could simply go to Chatter right here. I could mention who's someone in my demo org. Ellie East. I know you have worked cases like this before. I can share that because we've mentioned this individual. They're going to receive a notification right here. They can click on that. That's going to take them to this. And then I could simply just reassign this to Ellie right here. So assign that, hit save, and it's going to automatically push that to Ellie. You can see cases have now been reassigned. And if I go down to details, it's now Ellie. And Ellie will receive a notification up here, as well as that chatter mention letting them know, hey, Eric worked this. I know that you've worked these before, and I'm going to put this in your name. So those are kind of two ways we can do that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And so from the customer perspective, they don't see who we have assigned it to. They're only looking at the response holistically finally.
Exactly. Yeah. We can also route them if there's a specific account owner for X Power. Because this is an X Power account, it'll just automatically go to that person. That's another way. We can also set email automations off to let the customers know, or if you have texting channels open, whatever, letting them know, hey, we can your case, we're working it.
Eric, I know this is probably a very one-off, rare instance where they would need to, but is the chatter able to sync with the sales team as well? Let's say Sandra has a question to the person who sold to X Power, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So our internal communication, anyone that has a Salesforce license in your instance will be able to communicate with you. So you can communicate with the VP of sales. You can communicate with the sales development rep. Whoever is a user, we're able to just mention them. Let's see if I have someone else. Bill West. There's another example. So anyone, and you can see that this is a sales rep, but you're able to do that right here because everything's linked up. And I can even go here to look at the account owner if I want to. Under details, it looks like Valerie's the account owner here, so I could even go in here and mention that particular individual, and they'll receive that. And then of course, from their perspective, they're not only able to see all of their sales, but then they can see cases as well. So let's say they're working an account and they reach out to someone and they're like, hey, we want to talk to you about this upsell opportunity. They're going to know, hey, are there any open cases that we're currently working? Are there any issues? And so you have visibility from both ends with the Sales Service Cloud.
Oh, that'd be super awesome as well for like retouching canceled customers and see why they left. So that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And TK, I would ask you, like, with that, or Sandra, or Cindy, whoever's on the call, and like speak in regards to it, like, how does this so far kind of shape up as to what your initial thoughts are to what you're looking to implement? Is this along the lines, or is there something that maybe you were thinking of that hasn't been mentioned yet? Like, how is this looking so far?
Yeah, this good, right? So it depends on the I was curious to see how the phone call and the chat support also comes in together into this, because that's something we have never ventured out together. I mean, phone call, we convert them into tickets, but eager to see how the Service Cloud is able to convert tickets from that.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah. So as far as things like chat, and phone calls, those are add-ons. We have the Lightning Dialer add-on, and then we have the digital engagement package as well. Live chat. I probably have something where I can actually show you what the live chat looks like if you'll bear with me. You can see here, this is an incoming call. Can you expedite my order? So if you're using something like an IVR, you could even capture information right here in real time, or we could just do a screen pop. But yeah, we can definitely, let's put a pin in that and go through a few other things, and then we'll see at the end if I can pull something up to show you a live chat view as well. But it's important to note that the live chat is an add-on through digital engagement, and it's not a part of Service Cloud.
Correct. And in regards to anything like pricing related, once we kind of wrap this up and get all your questions answered and kind of have a good idea as to what you're going to be looking for, I'll send you either joint or individual breakdown of quantities of whatever you're interested in, so you can have like a full scope as to what you're understanding.
Okay. And the second question on this, Eric, the other thing what we face is when we use a common email box for the case resolutions, right? Whitelisting of so some domains block us, right? So in the sense, like we are able to talk to those schools or the staff directly from our Gmail as a domain, right? But whereas when it goes from a ticketing platform, sometimes it's being blocked. Is that something that is easily handled?
Yeah, so basically when you're sending it out from like a generic service email, as an example, you get a spam hit and it won't let you go through. Yeah, so the way that we do this, before I was a solutions engineer, I helped with case management. And the way that Salesforce does this is it gives you the option. So if we set an automation up that comes from just a general email, then yeah, that's going to be a problem. But if I'm one-on-one going back and forth, what I can do is I can change what my email is on the fly. So this is just like the default service email as an example. So you can see customer service case. So you can have a general customer support, but I can right here on the fly change it to my actual user email as well. So you're able to go back and forth to do that right here.
Okay.
And dictate where that's sent out from.
And if there is a delivery error, how does it show? Like if there is a bounce or delay in servers?
That's a great question. Let's see if I can get one to bounce.
If I'm derailing you from your walkthrough, please say that no, it's at the end of the session. I'm just asking based on as I see the flow and where we generally have common pitfalls.
Yeah, so this is going to show in the feed the email that was sent. If they respond, they'll be able to view that here. But if it bounces, if it's not a real email, it will dictate that. So if I let's just see if I just send it to something random, it'll usually tell me. It'll throw an error, but if it bounces back, it'll actually show up here at the top that the email was not sent.
Yeah, no, this is email sent, and it bounces back because they have a firewall on their end. So on the firewall rejects the email because like that's what I was saying, right? So you're able to communicate, and there will be sometimes the districts have their own firewalls where for whatever reason, right? So that went up for a day or so, scrutinizing some message subjects, it will push back saying that, hey, this email bounced back. You can resend later, or this is the DNS error that comes in.
Yeah. So in the activity, it will show, obviously this is showing that it wasn't sent, but if you send it in this timeline, it will show undelivered or undeliverable as sort of a way to let you know that, hey, you sent this, but it was not pushed through. And there'll be a red error. I don't have an example of that here because I don't have a fake email, but we can try to get you some resources over on that.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then, of course, we looked at just the one-off emails, but obviously we can create list views of all of these as well, so that we can manage those cases that we can't just resolve immediately. So here I just have a list view of all of my cases. Of course, we can filter these down a bunch of different ways. Maybe I want to see, cases that came through chat. We don't have any, but cases that are pertaining to billing as an example. Maybe I want to see all of my open cases, but sorted in a Kanban view. We're able to do that here. So I can see every single one of my cases and see what status each one of them are in as a way to do that. And then of course we can actually move these around and it'll update these fields in real time as well. So you can create various different list views based on certain things.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, so these are all of my top priority cases. I can see I have one that I'm working, I have one that's brand new, and then all of these I were able to close out, right? And these are all critical priority. So a bunch of different ways that you can filter these. And then we also have executive dashboards as well. So we talked about the individual ones, individual contributor ones, but maybe I want to see my SLAs from a company-wide. So how compliant are we for the entirety of the service team? What is our escalation rate? So of all of the cases that are routed, what percentage of those have to be escalated or moved to someone else? All right, so we can see that 0% of them. We can start to monitor by channel. How are these cases coming in? We have chat, email, looks like phone is the top one for us, our website. We even have social media as well. We can see things like our account value versus service cost, because we're bringing our sales and our service together. We can see of our sales side, how much money are these accounts actually spending with us versus from our service side, how much does it actually cost for us to service these accounts? So
sorry to interrupt, Eric or Chris. I think Sydney is waiting. She just said that she's waiting and she's waiting to be let in.
Okay.
Is there somebody who has to let her in this link?
I'm not seeing anything on my end. I know the creator of this, so I don't know, Chris. I guess on your phone, are you able to do that? or have visibility into that?
Yeah, so unfortunately I don't. I apologize. I just have the dial section in front of me. I'm driving, so I don't see that. I'm sorry about that.
Sure. Okay, no worries. Let's move on.
All right, sorry about that. But yeah, just touching on this, we can see things like our employee net. They spend a lot of money with us up here, but it doesn't actually cost us that much to service them versus like the Omega Inc. Almost twice the amount that they spend with us, it costs us to service this account. So we can start to focus on what our good customers are, what our bad customers are. It's just an example. You can see average handle time because I have this queue of 8-month-old leads. It's saying that we're actually well over our average handle time, but you're able to monitor all of that right here. Oops. So that is at a high level what the service module is. Before we jump into that maps portion of it, I know we've got about 14 minutes left, and I really wanted to show that to Jeff. Do you have any other questions about any of this?
No. This is good.
Okay,
and
perfect.
we can have a last question. Sorry. Can we manage multiple email boxes, like multiple case, like billing, support,
Yep.
right? Technical support.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All of that can be managed through the Omni-Channel.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Anything else that you guys want to see before we move on?
Sorry, Chris.
I said anything else that you guys
No,
have top
we're
of
good.
mind questions, anything else you want to see before we move on?
No, I think we're good. Sandra, you have any question?
Okay.
No.
Good.
Okay, perfect. So quickly, we've got about 10 minutes left. I want to leave some time at the end for Chris, and I'll dig around and see if I can find the live chat as well. But this is Maps. So you can see, again, we're all under the same umbrella. I can see my sales here, my service, and then, of course, I have my maps as well right here. And Maps is just a map. With this, we can take all of our Salesforce data and we can start to layer on top of it. So we can, first of all, do things like the ESRI Living Atlas. So we're able to have a bunch of different filters that we can pull from that third-party solution. We can have different map types as well. So I could do Google Maps, just the standard one that we're used to. We can overlay weather as well. I don't know how useful that would be for you, but you can imagine a construction company, something like that. This would be very beneficial for them, so we can just turn that off. We can even take into consideration traffic. So let's go down here to the San Francisco area, and if I overlay traffic, you'll be able to see it'll take this into account when we're actually commuting back and forth as well. So we have just a standard map here. We're going to take Salesforce data and we're going to put it onto this map through what are called layers. So you can see here I have a few recent layers that I created. I can create specific territories. I can have all of my leads, open deals, things like that. We'll touch on that in just a second. I can save them. And basically we save them into folders. So at a corporate level, a manager can create layers that they push to their sales team, their outbound team, their service team, whatever it may be, and then they can go in and look at that. But then individuals as well, if they have the permissions to do that, can also create their own personal layers. And we can view all of that information right here. And then it'll show you what's actually on the map, which right now is nothing. So let's just do all of our leads as an example. What it's going to do is it's going to take every single one of our lead opportunities and it's going to map them on a map based on where they're actually located. And we can do clustering as well. So we can see in this particular area, we have 177 total leads. Right here, we can even have the individual ones show. But let's show you how that, or we can see here, we have more individual ones. It'll show you the specific lead. And then of course, we can click on that and it'll take us to that actual lead record within Salesforce. We can take action on a particular lead record right here from within the map. So we can do a check-in. If I were on my mobile device, I can add them to an event. I can send an email, or we can add them to a route. We can also chatter right here from the map. So if I know that Valerie, that rep, is going to be in that area, I could actually chatter them just like before and let them know, hey, this specific lead is in your area. Can you go look at it? It's going to take her to that specific lead record. But how we do that's pretty easy. So let's just make one right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. You can have shape layers. That's where those territories come in. We'll touch on that in just a minute. But we're going to do a marker layer. We can also do data layers where we can pull any publicly available data. So if I have things like US Census data, so we'll just do an example here. If I click down here, I have a bunch of different options to me. So auto dealership, publicly available business data, airports, hospitals, public-private schools, all of that publicly available data we can pull in. If there's specific property data, we can pull that in and map that as well. And that's just a right out of the box feature.
Okay, and that's fantastic because I know, as I stated before, we work with schools, so being able to quickly pull that, and even I don't know if you're familiar with NCES, but that's another organization of master lists. So,
Well, and Eric, they would be able to, well, I guess based on the platform before I overspeak, but whatever software you were just referring to, Jeff, would that be something that could be integrated into Maps to show on there as well, Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, it wasn't a software. That's a national database. I just don't remember what the acronym stands for.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But basically, we're pulling from this. You can also add data sources as well. So to your point, Jeff, I can click on this and I can pull in third party. I don't have that set up, but you can go in there and just pull from that, pick the source. But let's just do all schools. I can filter this down if I wanted to. So we have a few options that are available. This is reliant upon data that was actually collected, whether this was through census or whatever survey it was. We're only going to be able to pull the data that they have available to them. But you can see here a few of the options that we can filter down through. Things like district. We can do pop-up markers. We can decide what's actually going to be displayed here, but let's just do a very simple one here. So let's save and plot this and see if we can actually generate any third-party school data. I've never done this before through schools, so let's see if it works.
Yeah, no worries.
But you can see over here, it's thinking. This is the example layer that we created, the little bubbles bubbling. It's batching to. If it's going to work, it'll probably take a second because I imagine there's quite a few public schools within the Bay Area, as there are. So you can see here it's clustered together. We have 50 right here. If I click on it, there are no aggregates, but we can see what the markers are, and it's actually listing each one of these school names. And if I zoom in on that 50, then it'll start to suss them apart. So now I can see individual ones. I can see what their address is, and then we can even take action on them. I can add them to a route, or I can do what's called click to create, which means we're basically taking this public information, the Cathedral School for Boys, and I can create a lead off of this, or I can create an account. And so any information that we have available to us, the name, if there's any contact information, that'll automatically create a record, a lead record, or a contact record within Salesforce.
Okay. Now, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. I just know that we have only a couple minutes. Can you show me what it looks like for already existing in Salesforce customers? Because we usually do have them already in there. Because I'm curious if we can distinguish between active clients versus prospects if we have those, which we do have those filters already set up.
Yep, absolutely. So let's just keep this example school one on here, and let's go ahead and let's add another one here. So I want to do all of my current accounts. So I'm going to do my accounts, right? So these are people that I'm doing business with. If I wanted to do my deals, like if we have open deals, we can do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the object that I want to dig in on. So we're just going to do standard accounts here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do next, and I can filter them. So what conditions? Maybe I want to do the account owner ID or the account zip code, whatever it may be, I can do that. We're just going to pull all of our accounts just to quickly show you what that looks like. But beyond that, I can do things like how we want to display them. So maybe I want the label of the account name. So let's just select that. We could select different color markers, but let's just, to make sure that we can fully differentiate them, I just want the name of the account. So the field that we're going to capture is the account name. It's going to be visualized like this. So let's just save and plot. Oh, I have to background fill color. Let's just do account ID. Save and plot. So you can see up here, now I have two layers. I have the one that we just generated, and this one's thinking. And then you can see here, now we have all of our actual accounts, and we can see them in relationship to potential new schools that we've just pulled from publicly available sources. So let's say I want to hit up all three of these accounts. Let's say I'm in a general area. I can take excuse me, I'm a little sick. I can take mass action on them. So I'm just going to drag all of these right here. And now doing that, I can see all of the individual ones right here, and I can take action on every single one of them. So I could send a new task to the account owner, I could create a new event, or I could add them to a schedule. So because we can bidirectionally integrate with Outlook and G Suite and pull that calendar system in, or look at the calendar system of your reps built within Salesforce, I can see what these individuals' calendar looks like. I can see what it looks like for next week. And I can select maybe the day that's best here. But I just want to go back. We'll do today. We'll get rid of a few of these here. And then we'll just add to, we'll do next Thursday on the 7th. It's going to think for a second. There's nothing available. These are the 4 that I actually want to add to the schedule. I hit add. It's going to think for a second, and then it's going to throw these 3 records on their schedule. And it will take into consideration travel time as well. So now this individual has all 3 of them added. You can see it's, if I highlight it, it'll show right at the bottom, 3 minutes. It's a half a mile drive between Omega and Upstyle. It's a 2-minute 0.3, 2-minute 0.3. And then we can go ahead and save that. And that's going to throw all of these on the schedule right here.
That's awesome. Are you able to, from this view with the active customers, see, because obviously these are, I think it's an account level from what you selected. Are you able to get a quick glance at some of the items like contacts under it, or if we have, we're about to add some new features with the CS team, like are they a reference or not, for example, right? So like, are you kind of able to see some of the fields within the account in this view?
Absolutely. So you see here, all I've selected is the account view. Obviously, I can go into this and I can just click on this account and pull it right up here. And so I can see all of that information right here of this. So I can see, oh, here are the contacts. Oh, here are projects we're working. Here are their cases. Here are their opportunities. But we can also go back. So let me go to my accounts. Let me go to edit it. Display options over here. Once it thinks for a second, we can pick what fields we want to actually display here. So you can see that I had just the account ID. I want to add another one. So I want to see, heat map. Where is it? Pop-up markers. It's here somewhere. Give me just a moment.
No worries.
Here we go. Tabs, display tabs. Here we go. So when I highlight it, I can select what actually to view. So fields to add. So let's do contacts, or let's do opportunities, open closed opportunities. We're able to view all of these lines here that you can simply add, and you can do any of those. So maybe I want to see the last name of the main contact, whatever it is. Any field, both standard or custom, you're able to pull up and display here.
Excellent. Cool. Perfect.
Awesome. All right, we've got 1 minute left. That's a super high level view of what Maps is, as well as a high level view of Service Cloud. I want to pause there for any final questions. I'm going to turn it back over to Chris.
On my end, at least, you did an amazing job. As you said, high level, but those were the exact things I was looking for to share. And if I remember correctly, this is being recorded, so I can share it with Dee later, CK, when she's back from her conference.
Perfect. Excellent. CK, anything from your end, or everything still going good?
No, good. Thank you.
Awesome. Eric, thank you so much. Great job. I appreciate you doing that and walking them through. That was great. So guys, what we'll do is we'll forward over all the information. So what I took down, some things that may or may not be of interest that I'm going to get information sent over. Obviously going to be a little bit more about the Sales Cloud. We'll send the demo over. I'm going to send you all a little bit of information about digital engagement, the chatbot, and our dialer, just so you can kind of review those to see if it's something that you want for a couple of your licenses or if you don't have it necessary, and then the maps as well. So once you guys kind of internally decide where you'd want to go and what you're interested in exploring, I guess just let me know how many licenses of each you'd be looking for, and then depending on the quantity and whatnot, I'll go to my deal desk and get some pricing sent over to you to review. But I'll probably have that sent over by the end of the day today, and then we can touch point maybe later on this week if that works for everybody. Maybe like Thursday or Friday.
Send the pricing information and the recording from this, Chris, and we'll let you know when to reconnect on this, because those are two different tracks. I want to make sure right people are discussing that. All right.
Yeah. What she said, I was going to have to refer with others anyway. So
yeah, absolutely. No, that works perfectly. I'll get that all sent over to you, and then I'll touch base with you guys later on the week just to check and see if you have any questions.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Eric, thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Bye.